Hey guys, my name is Nadia, and today we're going to be talking about my experience writing and directing a film in a foreign country, thousands of miles away from my hometown, in a place I did not know the language, did not know where I was going. So let's get started. So yes, I am so happy I had the opportunity to write and direct a film in a different country than where I lived. It was such an amazing opportunity. So today we're going to be talking about my experience and also challenges that I faced and tips that I have for you if you want to direct a film in a foreign country. So I guess the big question is, where did I go? Did I go to London, Tokyo, Paris, Sydney, Prague? Yes, it was Prague. I went to Prague. Here's some pictures of me when I was abroad in Prague. I was actually in Prague for a few months. I studied abroad there for a semester at FAMU, which is one of the oldest film schools in the world, and it was so great that I had that opportunity to go. But today we're going to be talking about the film that I actually wrote and directed in Prague, and it was called On Strings. It was a short film. It was about 5 minutes long, and it was about a young girl on a child leash, and this girl wants freedom. There was no dialogue, so that definitely did help, but there were just some challenges that we faced that I feel like wouldn't have been challenges if we shot it at home. However, I feel like this story is perfectly told in Prague. It's funny, when I was there it was called the Czech Republic, but now I know it's called Czechia, right? Am I pronouncing that right? Czechia, which is kind of like crazy to me because it feels like I just was there. I shot this film like about 4 years ago, but I can't believe now the country has a totally different name or different nickname. So anyway, I think the number one thing that you should do first if you're considering to direct a film in a foreign country that you have never been to is find someone in your crew that knows the area, that knows the language if you don't know the language of the country, and that knows how things work, knows the laws, knows the locations, knows how to find actors. That is really important. For me, I had a producer who was Czech, and he was able to help us out, find locations, and he was such a big help. So I think if you want to go shoot a film in a foreign country, it's really helpful to maybe find a producer or a DP that has experience in that city, because otherwise it's kind of like, well, how do you get your equipment? How do you find actors? Because for me, it's like, okay, I know how to do all of that in New York or LA because I've lived there, but I don't know how to do that in Prague. So challenge number 2 is kind of obvious. Okay, so I know English, I don't know Czech. I did learn a little bit while I was there. I was living there after all, so I had to get around, you know, go grocery shopping, all that sort of stuff. But when it came to actually really knowing the language, I didn't. If you guys are from Czechia, hi, hello. I guess this isn't a foreign country for you guys, but it was for me. It was a challenge. One of my actors specifically, she knew English, but there were certain things that there was definitely a language barrier. We were an English-speaking set. We didn't speak in Czech. However, one of my actors, the woman playing the mother, she was fabulous, so kind. But there were just certain things where I would say, like, sit up, and she would be confused. Up, like stand up, she wouldn't understand that I meant like spine straight, back straight. To her, up meant like up, let's get up. Sit is down, sit up, like it was confusing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, sit up straight, and I didn't know how to say it, except I guess I could have said back straight. Might have been helpful, the word straight rather than up. And eventually, I think it was like my producer who jumped in and clarified what I meant. There is going to be a language barrier if you want to shoot a film in a foreign country. If you do know the language of that country, great, and that is a huge advantage. I think the third thing to keep in mind if you want to direct a film in a foreign country is to really be respectful of that city, of that country's culture. Just be respectful of the people who live in that location that you are shooting in. You do not want to represent your country poorly. This is someone's home. I was filming in a park and there were kids there. Like, be respectful. Those parents with their kids, they're very protective of their children there, and they don't want just some random Americans filming them. And so just be respectful of the people in that area. This goes for not just if you're filming something in a foreign country, but just if you're going out to film in general. be respectful of the people whose home that is. The fourth tip I have for you guys is, yes, it will go slower than it would if you were filming it in a familiar place in your hometown. And that is all right. All these complications, just the language barriers, not knowing your surroundings, that will slow things down on set. I think it's important to just go in being aware of that things might move at a slower pace. Just keep that in mind. Things are gonna go a little bit slower, but they will get done, and just take your time with it. Don't get frustrated. As a director, you are in charge of everything, and so when you don't understand signs and what they say, it can be kind of really frustrating. And so it's, just take a step back, calm down, and understand that things might go a little bit slower. And again, that's why it's also important to have someone on your set who's able to translate things for you, help you out. And then the last tip that I have, something that I learned during my shoot, is that at the end of the day, it is the same as if you were filming something at home. It's a film shoot. You are directing a film, you are being creative, there's crew, there's actors. It's the same as if you were shooting something at home. Again, it might take some time, but you can do it, because at the end of the day, making films is the same, it's universal. So if you want to direct a film in a foreign country, I think that is really, really awesome. And if it fits the story that you want to tell, because don't just go to a foreign country to film because you just want to. It should actually fit with the content that you want to tell. But again, it's the same as if you're going to be shooting something in your hometown. Don't be scared, don't be intimidated by it, don't feel limited by just your neighborhood. Of course, there are financial limits, but if you have the opportunity, if you are going on some sort of trip anyway, why not shoot a film there? So anyway, that was my experience shooting a film abroad, thousands and thousands of miles away from my home. And if you want to hear more about my experience directing, tips that I have for directors, directing actors, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I make new videos every single Thursday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.